We are going to go ahead and start our October Provider Forum, where we have Jenny, one of our colleague members of the AHCA Florida, is going to talk about billing and technical support for the med waiver providers. So you should be able to share your screen.
Yes, actually Corey is going to do the presentation. So he's on.
Great.
Do you have it?
Let me see here. He should, is he on?
He is, Corey Michi, M-I-C-H-I.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, good morning, Dina. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Well, thanks. I'm ready to start if you don't mind, if I could just take it away.
Yes, go ahead, and you should be able to share your screen if you would like to.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, is everyone able to see? I've just got a little fun title screen there with the AHCA Florida logo and expert billing logo.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dina. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Corey Michi. I am the Vice President of Medical Billing with Expert Billing, and you just saw Jennie Benedix. She is the owner. We'll skip right to the introduction, which was included in the meeting. Thank you for that, Dina. Just so you know who we are, Jennie's been in this community since 1998. Everyone knows Jennie, and Jennie knows everyone. She's made a great name for herself and this business, just doing what needs to be done and asking all the right questions. And then I'm Corey, and I joined in 2023, but I am Jennie's nephew, so I've been around for quite a while, and happy to be officially onboarded with the team. So what we're going to do is just go over a brief billing overview for some just good to know things to get you guys going. The first thing to go over is the service authorizations. This is your agreement between with APD for what services you're able to provide, the rates of reimbursements, a lot of those good things. We recommend you never provide services without the service authorization, as there is no guarantee that you'll get reimbursed, even if you have a goodwill verbal confirmation that you're good to start services. Wait until you have this. There are other ways to get around it, which we'll go over in a little bit. You can get your service authorizations from your waiver support coordinators, or they are downloaded via iConnect. You want to make sure that you maintain all dated copies in every version for your records. Once a service authorization has been updated, you'll never be able to find the original one. So if something gets updated multiple times throughout the year, you'll only see the most recent copy. So keep everything for your records. And then there's also all of the relevant information that you're going to need when you need to submit billing. Again, like the procedure code, the unit rate, stuff like that. On this next page, and if Dina and our friends at AHCA are able to get this presentation posted for you guys, this is just what an example service authorization looks like. On the left-hand side is just your key to understanding what you're looking at. Whenever you receive a service authorization, it's very important to confirm that, one, it is approved based on the service provisions that are outlined in your support plan, and then two, that all of that information is correct. You should especially be looking for date ranges, as well as the units that are approved, to make sure that you're going to be able to bill in full for the services that you've agreed to provide. Now, where you do all your billing is in the Florida Medicaid portal. The top image is what it looks like after you log in. To access the portal, you'll click on the highlighted link under applications over here that says Florida Web Portal, and that will take you to the image below. I'll go to the next slide just so y'all can see, but then I'm going to go back to the images because I think that'll just make it a little bit more cohesive. There's a lot of things that you can do on the Florida Medicaid portal. The first tab is for providers, so you can view and maintain your information, including your address, ownership, EFT information, members of your group if that's applicable to you. This will also be where you update your address if you need to do that, as well as any like renewal applications, everything you need. Claims over here, that's where you search for claims and submit claims. You're able to do that via date range, by specific clients. You can even do one by services. It's pretty easy to navigate. And this is also where you can see claim status. So if something is paid, if something's suspended, if something's been denied. The next tab over is your eligibility, and this will just show you month to month what Medicaid plans people are approved for, if they are even approved for Medicaid. You definitely want to check eligibilities at least once a month, preferably in the beginning, so that if something has happened that you were unaware of, you can catch any Medicaid eligibilities immediately and either stop services, submit for their renewal, anything you need to do as quickly as possible.
Can I interject there, Corey, real quick? Sorry.
Sure, Jenny.
It's important for all providers to know about this tab in the portal, because we get a lot of providers calling us and saying, and especially support coordinators calling and saying, well, we called the 800 number and they said they're eligible. Because there's many different types of Medicaid, if they are eligible, that 800 number is going to say, yes, they're eligible, but it is not going to tell you which type of Medicaid they're eligible for, but the eligibility section in the portal will. And that's where we find out a lot of things, like they may have QMB or they may have SLMB, which if they are eligible, it's just the wrong type for med waiver claims to pay. So don't always just rely on the 800 number for verifying your eligibility. Go ahead, Cor.
Great, thanks, Jenny. And just to round that point out, in the iBudget handbook, it does have the list of all of the like med waiver approved Medicaids. So if the most common one is just MW full Medicaid, so med waiver full Medicaid, and you know you're good, but there's a bunch of other ones like MX, MS, and you might be wondering, what do those mean? You can just check the iBudget handbook to make sure that the type of Medicaid they are approved for is the type of Medicaid they need, so that you can get reimbursed for all your med waiver claims. Next to eligibility is the prior authorization tab. This is what we use as billing agents just to confirm what services have been approved and how much money, how much date, like the date range, all of that stuff. It's really the last line of defense for after a service has been approved and submitted. If a service authorization doesn't show up there, the claim won't process. So it's very possible, and it happens quite frequently, that you've gotten approved, a client's budget got approved for certain services, the support coordinator has gone ahead and entered everything into iConnect, and then it just doesn't show up here, so the claims don't pay. And sometimes that's just a little technical support of opening up a help desk ticket. Things can be denied because of conflicting claims. Very easy stuff to fix, but it's a good place to double check in case your claims are not paying. And then next to the prior authorization tab is your reports tab. There's two things to get here. Your 1099s at the beginning of a new year for your taxes, and then your remittance vouchers. You'll want to check every Monday, regardless of if you've submitted billing or not, to see if you have a remit voucher available. This will show you just honestly if there's any recoupments going on, anything that's been suspended, and it also will show you exactly what you're going to be paid on that coming Thursday. These are only available for about 8 weeks, and they'll disappear from the portal. It's nearly impossible to retrieve a remittance voucher once they're gone. And if you are able to, through Gainwell, they do charge you for it as well. So it's a good best practice for every Monday to check for a remittance voucher. So we'll skip this one since that's what we just went over. This slide is just the tools and resources for billing, because you don't really need to go to too many places to find the answers to your questions. The first link is for the iBudget handbook. So that will outline all the services and what their parameters are for providing as well as billing. Below that is the Florida Web Portal Guide. So this will really just tell you how to navigate it. Any questions, or if there's anything you're curious to find or not sure where to find, you can check here as well. And then below that is the fee schedule. This is the most current version. So if there's ever a change in rates, this table gets updated and it will show you rates for geographical, non-geographical, solo, agency, for every service, with the exception of transportation, since transportation is an individually negotiated rate. So with those rates, it gives you the procedure codes for the services, and again, just kind of reinforce what you need for billing. Now, this next slide is just some advice from the experts. Again, we've been in business since 1998, so we've picked up a couple things that we're happy to share with all of you. As I mentioned earlier, do not provide services without a service authorization. In a crisis situation, you can get partial authorizations, like something just for the month, while you're waiting for a SANS to be approved. Over the years, we have seen providers lose thousands and thousands of dollars thinking that they will get reimbursed for services provided without an authorization. Again, don't do it in good faith. Get the service authorization. You should be able to get one even in a crisis situation before you can feel confident that you'll be reimbursed. Do not bill services until they are actually completed and your documentation is completed as well. This is just basic APD and Medicaid guidelines. You will get cited on an audit if you have submitted billing without documentation. And if you try to submit claims the same day, they don't process often, depending on the service, because you haven't had time to really complete the service. So just make sure you dot all your I's and cross your T's. As we mentioned before, keep records of everything, even documentation that you've entered into iConnect. Currently, iConnect isn't mandatory, but we're not sure if there's going to be something else for record keeping that they are going to require. If you are using iConnect, just keep using it. And if you're not, just make sure to keep copies of all your documentation in some other type of file management system, whether it's another program or it's just folders in your computer. We also recommend keeping hard copies of everything, which is a little interesting in this digital day and age, but if something gets wiped, you want to make sure that you always have a copy. Just because a claim pays does not mean it is accurate. And APD doesn't provide any billing assistance. So you can look at the Medicaid billing handbook for some guidance, but there's certain things that'll pay when they're done incorrectly. For example, monthly reshab, you bill after 24 days of attendance, but you could put the date of service as the first of the month, and that claim will still pay. Well, you might have provided the services correctly. If you didn't bill correctly, they can go back and recoup it from you. So just make sure you're double checking the billing handbook for any guidance. And speaking of recoupments, always challenge it. We empower you guys to not just pay money back because someone told you something's wrong. Always challenge it so that you can do your research, you get time to do your research, and you can have those conversations. You can reach out to your billing agent or your admin team for support. Don't just pay the money back. Again, check every Monday for a remittance voucher, even if you didn't submit billing. They're available for up to 8 weeks on the portal. Your web portal password must be changed every 60 days. You do get an email reminder from that, so it's not something you need to check the portal very frequently for. But when you get that email, make sure to take care of it. If you don't, and it reaches past the 60 days, you get locked out of your account, and it's very time consuming and a bit painful to try to get back into it. So just make sure to change your password every 60 days and then keep that updated password somewhere, whether it's in your internet browser that you save your password, or if you have another type of document that you keep passwords on file. All providers are responsible for maintaining their own Medicaid ID. For example, the waiver support coordinators should not expect their agency owner to monitor or maintain their Medicaid ID. So this is a big thing where you want to just make sure that you're aware of your contract start and end dates. Make sure that your address is accurate in the portal, because when you come up for renewal, they will just mail it to the address on file. And if that address is incorrect, your account gets suspended for undeliverable mail. And you can see the dates and everything. Again, that's all in the web portal under your provider tab. Beware of billing scams. A proper billing agent is going to have their own Medicaid ID and portal access in order to submit billing. Providers give billing agents certain permissions, so we are able to access your account, but in a very limited way, essentially just to check on your information and check your claims. We shouldn't be able to log into your account. We should never need to. And billing agents are not allowed per Medicaid to charge a percentage of claims that are processed. So if you have any billing agent out there or anyone offering to do your billing for a percentage, that is not a legitimate billing agent. Do not go with them. And then, of course, just the benefits of using expert billing and more. We use our own custom software so that we're able to upload batch file claims quickly and efficiently. Gives you more time with your clients. Again, we provide technical assistance in documentation and compliance monitoring. We do quick and accurate submission of claims through that software. There's a bunch of fail safes we have put in that will flag anything that isn't correct, so we can get ahead of it and reach out to you guys as a provider. We also offer a balanced summary report and a clean detail report, which are great for auditing purposes. You don't need to do a lot of searching as you would in the portal. We can do one click and we have an entire summary of all the billing for every client and every service that you've billed through us. And we are the #1 APD recommended billing agent. Again, Jenny's been doing this for a very long time. So if you have any other questions about us as a billing agent, you can check out our website. It's below, it's expertbill.com. Feel free to give us a call or go ahead and shoot us an email at expertbilling@expertbill.com. And that will be it. Dina, thank you. Jenny, I think you wanted to hop in and discuss a few things.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about what happened last week with the portal. We don't really have any exact answers from AHCA, what happened. But on Thursday, the portal basically was down for quite some time. We were able to submit claims via batch upload. However, a lot of the claims went to suspended status, which there's no explanation for. That messed up a lot of providers because they didn't get paid what they thought they were going to get paid. Hopefully it's all resolved now, but it's still a painful process because most providers have to wait until next week for the majority of their payment that they were going to expect this week. The one thing that I will let everybody know is there's a lot of people that do their own billing, whether it's via batch upload from Therap or other software or do manual submission. The contract with Gainwell and AHCA, it states that Gainwell must process any claims received by Wednesday at midnight for the following week. With that being said, 95% of the claims that are submitted on Thursdays and Fridays up until sometimes 7 p.m., they are still processed. However, those are not guaranteed. So we highly encourage providers to do their billing as soon as possible on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays and not wait until Thursday and Friday. When there is an issue with the web portal, it inevitably always happens on a Thursday. And that's just because that's when updates are done, that kind of thing. But once your claims are in there prior to Thursday, then you're set and you don't have to worry. For example, last week, we had hundreds of providers that submitted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They didn't have any issues at all what happened last week because their claims were already in. So encourage everybody to try and, you know, do your billing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and not solely rely on sitting there at 7 p.m. on Friday and hoping that you're going to get paid. That's it.
Great. So let's open it up for questions since we have time. You are more than welcome to unmute or put it in the chat. There's not any questions in the chat right this second. So anybody have any specific questions that Jenny could answer or Corey?
Okay.
Okay, then. Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to give us this information, and we will send a copy of the presentation out to all attendees with your contact information. And then if people have specific questions, they can reach out. Okay, we just
Here's
have
one
a question.
from Blossom.
We were told that we can't bill until the last day of the month instead of 24 days.
Well, for monthly rehab, your service, you're getting paid for 24 days. So that's when your service ends. The majority of providers bill on the 24th once their residents have 24 days of attendance. So you can bill on the 24th. If you have a day rate, you want to wait till the last day because you want to get all of the days accounted for in your billing. But monthly rehab is for 24 days a month.
Right. Is
Answer your
there
question.
anything else? Any other questions? I guess everybody understood everything, Jenny.
Okay, well, great. Thank you all for having us.
Oh, here's another one. Can you provide CDC rates?
We can't provide CDC rates, and actually we don't do any billing for CDC because that's all a separate platform and a whole separate process. So if I'm not mistaken, the family can set their own rates for CDC.
So they would need to do their own billing then?
Anybody that's on here that does CDC billing can chime in if they want to. But the provider submits the billing to the family, and then the family has to submit it to APD or however they're doing it, whoever's processing it. So we don't get involved in the CDC billing.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna hang on for another minute. We did, Jessica did answer that said, yes, that's right. They would submit their invoice to the representative.
Okay. And from what I understand, that's a paper check. So that takes much longer than the electronic billing that the regular med waiver can do.
Okay. Great.
All right then. If anybody has questions or whatever, our email is in the presentation. You feel free to email us at another time if you think of anything else you want to ask. You can like our page on Facebook as well because we do post a lot of stuff on there.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.